Okay, welcome everyone. Super excited to have you all here. This is going to be such an exciting call. So what we're going to be doing for the next hour is we're going to do a deep dive into getting the most out of the Zoom app. I'm sure many of you guys are using it right now, right? You're tuning in, but we get a lot of questions in particular from our amazing brand partners in how to really leverage Zoom, how to host a Zoom, how to get the engagement going up in a Zoom. So we're going to go over that, and we're going to have the amazing Jen Gaskell talk about that. And then we're going to talk about another app that I think is really essential for your business, and it's called the Lifesteps app. And I'll even do a live demo showing you some of the features in there and how you can use it both as a member and as a brand partner to grow your business. And we're also going to have the amazing Christina Teff, who's going to be going through and sharing lots of highlights from that app. So in the meantime, tell us, what questions do you have in the chat box that you have about either Zoom or Lifesteps, and we'll get to it in just a minute. If you don't know me, I'm Tracy Black. I'm in San Diego. Super excited to see all your faces. If you can turn your camera on, I would love to see you. It's just so fun because it feels like we're all in a big room chatting together. Again, still time to go invite people to come join us. We are recording as well, but it's always good to be here live. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn it over to Jen, and she's going to share her tips on Zoom. So awesome to have you, Jen.
Hi, you guys. If you guys don't all know me, I'm Jen Gaskell. I was about to say that I live in Austin, Texas, which is funny. I just moved to Charlotte, North Carolina. So I'm excited to do this alongside Tracy. She is the queen of all of this stuff. So I feel honored that she's including me in this. But Zoom has been an amazing platform for me personally. I have built my business primarily through Instagram. So our team is pretty much all over. Like, I don't have a local team. I never have. I've had, a few people here and there, but not a very large team. And so having platforms that make connecting and educating easier, like, I am all about that. And I don't think that you lose anything if you do Zoom right that you're not going to get in person. I mean, I know there's a little difference. You're not like actually in person, but there's a lot of ways to create that same kind of environment and, feel that you have with your community if you go about it the right way. So who knows, who is like brand new to Zoom, like doesn't know a ton about it outside of like getting on and like doing it. Okay. I see a few hands. So just to give you guys, I guess, like an overview, it's a video conferencing service, which you can obviously hear, but what's great about it is that it is cloud-based. So you do have the ability to record, and there's a ton of different features that I personally like. So you can share your screen, you can share content, there's the chat messaging, there's recording. So you can use Zoom for a ton of different things. You want to do webinars, you want to do demos, you just want to like hang out with your friends and like have a spa night. There's so many different things. You can do one-on-ones, you get a personal ID. So I have the website. I'm just going to read some of this to you guys so that you know that there's a Zoom kind of package that can be for any of you guys. So there's the basic one, which is completely free to sign up. You just go to zoom.us, and then you can sign up for a free account. What you get with a free account is you're going to get the ability to host up to 100 people. And then this is the thing where you're first starting out, the free option is going to be completely fine for you because you can go up to 40 minutes. And then you can obviously do like unlimited one-on-ones. You're not going to be capped at a certain amount for a month. So it is free. The only downside is that it's only 40 minutes. So for me personally, I have a pro account. This is going to be great for smaller teams. You can host up to 100 people. You can increase participants up to 1,000 with an add-on. There's no like cutoff of recording or cutoff at your meeting or anything like that. And then they also have, so I think that's around $150 for the year. So pretty affordable, and you can pay monthly. And then there's a larger one, you can host up to 300 people. And then there's a huge one if you have a very, very large team, or you're running just a big organization. So there really is something for everyone when it comes to Zoom packages. So don't feel like when you're first starting that you have to pay for something. You absolutely do not have to. You can create that environment with the free one in under 40 minutes. So that is really nice when you're first getting started. I think all of us, most of the leaders on their team really just love Zoom for the different options that it gives you as far as engagement, training, one-on-one mentoring. So I just wanted to give you guys a few tips that I think are helpful in getting over your fear of using Zoom. So these are kind of like excuses, but really just to walk you through how to get over certain things. I know a lot of people don't want to get on Zoom, or they don't want to teach on Zoom because they're like, I haven't done my hair, I don't feel like getting dressed up, and so on. So you guys just know that when it comes to just like your general appearance, let's just state the obvious. People already know what you look like and they don't care. They don't care if you get dressed up for them. Like, you don't have to look perfect. The main point is that you're doing it and you're creating that engagement and education opportunity for your team. So I wouldn't be so worried about impressing the people on the other end of the call. And if you are, just, take a comb, take the 2 minutes to brush your hair. Like, it's really not a big deal. And the great part is that you can do it in flip-flops or sweatpants or whatever you want. Another thing is, people will say, well, my lighting is terrible. And you know what? You're probably right, because the overhead lighting doesn't give us a whole lot. It doesn't give us a whole lot to work with. And it's okay, you guys. It's not the end of the world. And if you want, you can fix that. Like, I have a ring light right here from Amazon. It's $20. It makes a difference in my opinion, but it's not necessary, you guys. Just face yourself towards the light, towards a window. There's so many different little things that you can help get over that fear of like, my lighting's not good. And then this is a big one for me. So, a lot of people are like, oh, I don't ever want to turn my video on because so-and-so is not turning their video on. So what I would say, if you're running your business and trying to teach through Zoom, I would just get into the habit of always having your video on, whether you are teaching or not, or just being there to learn and be a part of it. It shows, you're being a leader, you're being an early adopter of it. Just try the video. There's a ton of really good benefits from just having your video on, you guys. The first one is, you can express yourself fully. I know that we may not realize that, but we really do rely on facial expressions and just body language to convey our meeting. People know that you're joking by your smile, or that you're concerned by the way that you're crossing your arms. And communicating by audio alone, in my opinion, it's really hard, because it's kind of like telling a sarcastic joke via text. It's not always going to work. So the video makes a really big difference to your audience, and it just makes it easier on yourself. And then the big thing is that it really does help build relationships. So letting someone, such as like a brand new person on your team, see your face is a great way to let them know that you're a real human being, that they don't have to be nervous. And then that just leads to more likability and their ability to trust you, which I think in a network marketing company business, it's really important, to create those bonds in that community wherever you possibly can. And we live in a really weird world right now, as far as not always being able to get together in person and finding ways to connect with people. So I know that a few of you guys already know this, but we have a ton of international people on our team, and they can't always come to classes in person. Like, that's not always happening in their market with their local team. So what Zoom is really great, you see Tracy is recording this right now. So she's going to be able to post that later so that she can serve the entire community, not just the 29 people that were able to come on this call right in this very moment. So it creates a huge opportunity for you to educate your entire team versus just the people that can show up at your house, or even if you are doing an in-person class, you can still be recording something on Zoom or live streaming it. There's so many opportunities. For me, I just love it for the fact that it can create community amongst people that may never even meet. So I see a few people on our team right here, and I'm like, I already feel so close with these people because we get on Zoom once a week and we see each other and we chat, and I get to do one-on-one meetings with them. And like, I know when I meet these people for the first time in person, it's going to be like we've been friends our whole lives. And that is the power of using Zoom to leverage your business. And also, I know that Tracy might talk about this later, but there's tons of little things like the chat box, making sure you're asking people questions, getting people to engage with you. Like, that's going to be huge for your business. Even if you're just asking like, hey, what's your favorite oil, or whatever you're educating on, like, what's your favorite way to use thieves? Like, get people chatting in the chat box, and that is going to make them feel as though they're a part of the conversation too, even if they're not the one talking. It's very important to utilize all of the tools that the Zoom platform gives us. Another thing that I would tell you guys is, if you're running this business from afar from people, or even if you're not, just make sure that you're also remembering that people just need a community. So while we're all tied together by Young Living and our love for products, this has been a really hard year for people. And sometimes just having the ability to get on and not feel like you have to talk about anything in particular, you just have this community that's based in Young Living, but extends so far beyond that, has been something truly special for our community. I can't speak for other teams, obviously, that are not in this group right here, but I mean, we do like weekly coffee chats, and I don't think we ever talk about oils. Like, it's just an hour a week that we can just get together and hang out and like almost like a check-in, like, hey, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? And we love that. Hallie Carr, I don't even know if she's on here tonight, but she hosts those and they're so much fun. It's such a big part of community building, but it wouldn't even be possible without Zoom, you guys. So I want you to kind of get in touch with the people on your team and really find out what they're needing and how you can serve them through Zoom. If you're not with them in person, they might just need community. The other thing that I wanted to tell you guys, so in my opinion, every multi-level marketing company, you need your distributors, you need your customers, but to be super successful, in my opinion, you also need to have fans. I'll explain kind of what I mean by that. So I feel like fans differentiate themselves from customers by having a really strong sense of dedication to a particular brand or organization, and that dedication is really helpful because the fans, I'm saying it in, I don't know why I'm using the word fans, but they're really passionate about the company and they're going to spread the word about that, whether they're doing the business or not. And you can call on them to support you in any kind of situation as far as the company goes, a goal. And I think that a lot of leaders have relied on our fans to help us achieve that massive organic growth. And you guys can do that too. And you can grow your own fan base, and Zoom is a huge way to do that. So I think we just have to understand kind of where fans of our business come from. And, whether it's the products they like or, why Young Living is so much better than anything else that you can buy at the store. And, we have this huge opportunity to educate every single week on a platform like Zoom. And like I said, you're seeing people's faces, you're hearing their voices, they're totally connecting with you. And you get to foster that engagement and the community with people. And it really will help establish relationships with your customers better. And that is going to carry your team through really hard times. Like the past year that we've had is just having that relationship building tool, because that's not something that we can really get always through text messages, like seeing people talk and seeing their face. It's just so important. And I think it's just been huge for us over the last year. Tracy, I'm sure that you would agree as well. So those are kind of just some of the, I don't even know if those were tips, just talking through why Zoom is so imperative to use for your business and growth. And you guys, even if you are not in a place where you are ready to perhaps maybe teach a class via Zoom, there are so many classes every single week that this team puts together for you. Send your members to those. Those are opportunities. And here's the other thing. If you're inviting your members, try your very best to be on the call too and have your camera on, because that is going to make them feel more comfortable. Because if I have a new member and I send them to the Zoom, they might not know Tracy or Ashley or Rachel. They might be like, oh, I feel so like nervous, like they don't want to turn their camera on. But if they see you on the call, they see your face on the call, even if you're not teaching it, but they see you, they're immediately going to feel so much more comfortable being a part of this community and seeing how they also fit into it. So that's a really big thing, you guys. You don't have to be the one teaching it, but you should absolutely be engaging in that and doing all of the things that you want your members to do on the Zoom platform as well. So yeah, super easy tool. I'm sorry I rambled. But yes, you guys learn Zoom, get the free one no matter what. And I think that Christina is Christina going to talk about the life steps now? We're going to go in a different direction, you guys. For sure Zoom, and then Christina is going to talk about the Lifestep app and why it's just the best.
Thank you, Jen. That was amazing. That is such good tips. I love that. And I feel like Zoom has been such a lifesaver for me this past year in teaching, just getting, those nights that we've had, like spa nights, were the funnest, right? We're all like in our mask and stuff. Like, it's so much fun. So yeah, Zooms are the best. I highly recommend doing them with your team. And just, we've had so many late nights just with my, little close team. Even if we're all in the same city, we can't all get together. It's great. So, okay. So we're going to totally switch. Not totally, because it's still like technology based, but we're going to switch gears here and we're going to talk about this app. You may or may have not have heard of it. I actually honestly just started using it like 2 weeks ago, but it's been really, really good. And I'm just going to kind of go over it a little bit and talk about why you might even want it, if it's something for you, how it can help you in your business. So I don't know about you, but well, fast forward a little bit. When we first started doing this business, like probably 7, 8 years ago, the primary way that we educated people was through Facebook groups, right? Like we got everybody in our Facebook group. I remember people would be like, "Hey, if I'm not on Facebook, how can I get educated?" And I'm like, "I don't know, just create Facebook, like or create a Facebook account because I don't know how to help you." Not really, but kind of, because that was like the primary way that I did it. Well, that was wonderful and all, but then the Facebook algorithm hit, and all the kinds of things were happening. Like it was hard for me. I would like make a post and then I wouldn't even be able to see it right after. I couldn't find it. I have to like go ask somebody on my team, "Hey, can you tag me on that post so I can see it now?" Like it was crazy. And people weren't finding things, our posts aren't being seen. And so Facebook is still a way that we communicate with our team and the way we educate, but we are definitely trying to find new ways to make that work for people that maybe aren't on Facebook, don't want to deal with Facebook. Plus, Facebook's kind of a distraction, right? Like you might be looking for something in the group, looking for education, and then your little notifications pops up, and you're like, "Oh, who's messaging me, or who tagged me, or who commented on my post?" And you go click on it, and then you forget to go back to the group. I mean, it's awful for me. Like my brain just can't deal with it. So, okay. So what we really love about this app is that everything is all in one place. And it's going to be for your business builders and for your just oily education, resources, things like that. So what you're going to find in the Lifesteps app are things like announcements, education, resources. If you are not on your phone right now and you are like on a computer but you have your phone, just go download it. It's free. It's not going to cost you anything. I would just go get it. And so you can kind of be looking through it. Ashley's showing it. Thanks, Ashley. Okay, so the whole entire point of Lifesteps is a way to communicate with your team. And I watched the developer of this app. Her name's Courtney Kreitz. She's an RCD, and I watched her video on it, just kind of going through all of it and the reason why she created it to begin with. And I love that you're going to see whenever you get in there, your first level 1 people and everybody you personally enrolled. So those are the main people that you are going to be communicating through this app. Of course, you can add more people to there if you want. You can manually add people, but it's mostly just going to be for your tight group, that first level 1s and your personally enrolled, because this business is all about building relationships, right? And it's all about, if we're trying to spread ourselves too thin, I'm not saying don't reach out to your other people. That's awesome that you do, but you want to build those relationships with people, especially your personally enrolled, especially your level 1s. And then that's going to duplicate down the line. Does that make sense? So that's why this app focuses on your just level 1s personally enrolled. Okay. So it makes it really easy. It's really simple. So let me just kind of back up and tell you what Lifesteps is not. So it's not like Oily Tools or Oily Trends, which I just heard that Oily Tools, maybe Tracy can fill us in a little bit more, but Oily Tools is now being replaced by something even better. Super excited. But anyways, it's not Oily Tools. It's not Stats. It's not Oily Trends. Those apps are amazing, but it's not anything like that. So you still need those. This is not Project Broadcast. So this Project Broadcast, I don't know if you guys use that or utilize it, but it's for like mass texting your entire team or certain legs of, entire legs, things like that. So it's not for that. This is just literally for building those close relationships with those people in your level 1s and helping keep all of that organized in your head. Okay, so it's an educational tool. So essentially what you're going to do is you're going to download it, and then you're going to tell your personally enrolled, your new people, and people on your level 1 to download it as well. And anytime you get a new enrollment, you're just going to say, hey, you're going to send them the little link. It's right there in the app for you. You can say, hey, download this app. And what's so cool about it is when you get a new enrollment, and they download the app, they go in, then it's going to ask them, hey, which kit did you get? And let's say they got the Ninja kit. Well, it's going to send them a series of maybe information, videos, like informational things about the kit that they got, how to use it, what to use it for, this and that. So if let's say they got the PSK or they got a different kit, it's all there for them to educate them. I know, right? I love that too. I'm kind of glancing over at the chat too at the same time. Okay. So then what the cool thing about that is they get their app and they're looking through it and they're like, this is amazing. How cool is this? I can share this with somebody. This is so easy. All they have to do is enroll, and then I send this to them and it helps educate them as well. So it takes the pressure off you, because I love what they're doing here is they're giving you all the content. So there's daily, what I love too is like, the free version gives you like daily tips. They have monthly, like whatever you want to call it, like monthly, like March is spring cleaning. Last year was love and all the things that surround that. And I think January was like new you, better you kind of thing. So it makes it super simple because they're creating all the content for you. So there is a free version and there's a paid version. So what I was just telling you about is the free version. So there's a theme every month. You get tips every day, any kind of announcements or anything like that. Okay, my baby just woke up right next to me. Probably talking too loud. But there's tips every day. I already said that. So your team is going to get all this information so you don't have to stress, and you can enjoy working on the relationships with people, and it's literally giving you more freedom. So, and I also like the fact that you're not scrolling and getting distracted by Facebook like I always do. Okay, so then there's going to also be a paid version. And so what I love, it's called Lifesteps Pro. And this part's really cool because you can add contacts. It'll download all your contacts for you that are on your level 1 or personally enrolled that you can message, and literally you can just click off tasks. It's so cool. It gives you, where's my phone? I don't know where my phone went, but you can literally, it gives you tasks and all your contacts. You can pull contacts from there, from your virtual office if you'd like as well, that people that you want to stay in contact with as well, even if they aren't your personally enrolled or level 1s. Let's see what else. Okay. You can even put in prospects too, which is really cool. And so there's a place where you can put in prospects. So let's say maybe I sent so-and-so a sample. So you're going to put that information in, and then it'll automatically populate a task. So that way it'll remind you to follow up with them. So that's really cool. I like that a lot too. And there's also this really cool thing. It's an assessment tool or a wellness tool that they can go in and they can take this test and kind of give them some key things to focus on, like different, like skin or, reproductive health, whatever kind of health that they're wanting, cardio health, whatever. And then what it does is it also populates different kits for them that they might be geared towards, that they can either get, like more expensive, like here's all the things you might need for this, or if you want to keep breaking it down to smaller kits, it gives them ideas on things next step to buy. So that's really cool. So what I love about that, then it automatically takes you right back to your your website that you get when you pay for the pro version. So this part's really cool as well. So when you pay for the pro version, and Tracy and I both have it, so you could always go look at one of ours. We could always send a link so you could look at what it looks like before you actually buy it for yourself. But it literally, it's so pretty. It's done so well. The graphics are beautiful. And it just kind of gives you all this explanation of why Young Living, what's the difference between Young Living. It's like your own personal website. And then it has your name, and there's a place where you can make it personal for you if you want to put your own story, things like that. And then of course there's links that link you straight to your enrollment page for Young Living. So that way you can send your friends there and be like, you can take a look at all this. I mean, there's cute things about the kids line and all kinds of stuff. You just have to go and look at, Tracy just posted it in the chat, hers. So that way you can go look at hers. But I've really enjoyed having that. So that way I can utilize that when people ask me hey, do you have a website? And instead of sending them my enrollment link, I just send them that, because I feel like it's just a lot simpler, and then they can shop before they actually click buy. But you know how if we send them the sign up link, they're just going to buy. Okay. Oh, I like this too. So when you get a new member that comes in, you get a message that, hey, you got a new member, and they got the Lifesteps app. Don't forget, it'll send you like a task to go in like 10 days to follow up with them, things like that. So um, I like what Courtney Kreitz said in her video, because some people are asking, why don't you allow more people, which you can add more people to follow up with or to build relationships with, but it's better for you to do this well for a few people than to do it poorly for many. And it's so true, because I need to do better. I know about me being more intentional with building relationships with my level ones and my personally enrolled, instead of just trying to spread myself so thin. It's, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying don't pour into all of your team, but don't forget about your level ones and your personally enrolled. Okay. I feel like there was more that I wanted to talk about, but I kind of got through my notes really fast. So I don't know, Tracy was going to kind of show us a little bit more and kind of fill in the gaps of what I missed, because she has used it quite a bit too. So I'm going to just turn it over to Tracy.
Oh my gosh, that was so good. Thank you so much, Christina, and Jen as well. So many great tips. Okay, so I've been using the Lifesteps app for a while, and I just want to put out there, I don't recommend something unless like I really, really love it. And I really do love this app. And I kind of just want you to think about Lifesteps as like serving two, different kinds of audiences, right? Like people, one is like members and the other is like your business builders, our brand partners, right? Like us. So the thing about what I love about Lifesteps and what Christina covered so well is, there's so many people who don't have the time to go on Facebook. They miss things that are on Facebook. Like we, in the beginning, like she said, it was like, that's the only place that you could find information was Facebook. But now it's so hard to find the information, and kind of just putting it in, like going into the shoes of a brand new person. When they go into the Facebook group, they're like, oh my God, what is all this stuff? I don't even know what's going on. Like it can be very, very overwhelming. And what I like about this app is, it's so easy. Like literally when you enroll someone in your welcome, like you send them a text or an email, you can go, this is one of the things you need to do. Just get this app, download it, and let's walk you through. The first thing you do is the wellness assessment, right? Like you can kind of show them step by step how to take advantage of the app and do the courses. Like Christina said, there is a course in here. It's hard to show you on my phone. I'll see if I can do it on my computer, but there's a course in here where someone can go through and learn about the oils. There is the wellness assessment, which is probably the best thing because people come in from the starter bundle, one of the starter bundles, right? But we all have kind of specific needs. Based on that wellness assessment, what happens is they just answer just questions, maybe like 15 questions. And then based on their responses, they're going to get what's called these wellness boxes. And I'm going to show you what that looks like in just a second. But inside this wellness box, it's like specific products, like tailored because of their responses. So it's just really, really cool, especially when you can really talk to your members about this. You guys, this is like the way to show people how to build out their ER orders. Like think about this, right? They got their kit first month. Next month, they're like, I don't know what to do now. Okay, we'll get your wellness assessment. Take that and it'll tell you what you can get. And based on your needs, you can prioritize. You can put everything in there, right, in your second month, or you can, month 2, put what is your top priority, month 3, and kind of go on from there. So it really does help to what I feel like, ease the burden, right, off you a little bit of being like the Google for your member. Like, of course, yes, you need to check in, see how they're doing. But what I love about Lifesteps is that it's got so much great information and it eases the burden off you. You can be like, hey, go into Lifesteps and go look at this. Did you see this in Lifesteps? There's a new, there's more information about this. Like, for instance, something else that's really cool in the app is every month they have a different theme. This month it's spring cleaning, right? So if someone has a need or has been talking about getting rid of their cleaners, hey, guess what? There's like a great bundle in here of information on like how to replace your cleaner, how to replace your detergent. Did you see the diffuser recipes? Like you could literally send all of those things to your members. It's just so, so good. But what I would say is first be thinking about your new members and how you can help them with that, here you go. Download the app. This is going to be your Google, right? When you have a question about how to use something, how to do something, check this, right? Again, that is kind of like their first resource. Next, let me help you to let's do this wellness assessment. Get the wellness assessment. Tell me which box that you got. You know what you could do is you could even incentivize this, right? I'll send you a roller when you do this wellness assessment. Maybe you do something fun like that, because essentially, again, you're getting them down that pipeline of helping them to build out a future ER order. And, it's really like an opportunity for your member to also take their health in their hands, right? Rather than go, Christina, tell me, what do I need to order? What do I need to get? I don't know what to do, right? This is an opportunity for them to go look it up and go, oh my gosh, this EndoFlex thing is like exactly what I think I need because I took this wellness assessment. So again, really great way to serve your members, but new members, boom, there you go, right there. For your existing members, let me just tell you, again, I'll do a walkthrough in just a little bit. I'm going to show you this, but it is so cool. So I am a huge fan of repurposing content. Does anybody know what I'm talking about with this? I am all about let's be efficient. Let's work smarter, not harder. There are so many photos and graphics in Lifesteps. Let me just tell you, you want to know where I use these photos? Okay. And all the places. I put them in my Facebook groups. So I'll plan it out for the whole month and be like, okay, diffuser recipe, stitch and switch, supplement spotlight, oil of the month. I plan them all. I schedule them out in my Facebook groups. I send an email to my members. And, at the beginning of the month, here are the promos. Here's the March newsletter. Here's the oil of the month. Okay. That's the second way. Third way, I'll text it out to members too. I've got certain members who prefer text, certain members who prefer email. I'm texting them that same information. Also Instagram, because I also have a personal Instagram. I'm putting things in there. So do you see it's like one piece of content that I then just repurposed in 4 or 5 different places. It's so easy to do. So again, just kind of be thinking about that. And you don't have to work. Most of our time should be focused on prospecting, right? 80, 90%. Following up, prospecting, teaching classes, creating content and graphics, right? This is why this tool is so awesome, is that it's done for us so that we don't have to spend the time doing it, which is amazing. So I'll show you in just a sec. And then, of course, for our brand partners, you guys, oh my goodness, so much great information. And I sent the link, but let me just explain to you. For people who have the free version, lots of stuff, right? There's a news feed that you can scroll through and look at everything, great resources and learning materials. There's even courses, right? Again, these courses have things like, I just got my kit, what do I do now, right? You can literally go through and learn about different things. The wellness assessment, which is great. The pro version, okay, has a little bit more information. It has all of that, plus the website that Christina talked about, the contacts, the tasks. So I want you to think about contacts and tasks for anybody, for all of us, right? Our brand partners. For anybody who sort of needs that, I don't know if you're familiar with the term CRM, but it's customer relationship marketing. It's basically being able to stay on top of who you're following up with. You can use this tool to do that. How cool is that? So I know for some of you, you put it in a spreadsheet or you write it on a notepad. That's what I do. I write it on a notepad and it's linked to my phone. But now I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do it in here instead. So you can actually port in your contacts and manage it that way. At the end of the day, when it comes to that, I say, do what works for you, right? You don't want to spend more time managing the contacts and actually following up and talking to them. But I do think it's a really great resource if you really like doing it digitally like that. So contacts, you can, port in and build in your contacts too, and set up tasks and go through your tasks as well. There's even goals and a leaderboard for yourself that you can kind of go through. You also get in and out of stock notifications with the pro version. And there's lots of social media graphics. There's also some with the free version, but there's a ton. I'm talking Instagram stories on everything you could possibly think of. I don't even create Instagram stories anymore because they're already done. Again, just working smarter, not harder here, right? So let me show you. I'm going to show you on my computer. So it's not going to be quite the same as it is on my phone. So that's another really cool feature. is that you can do it on both. Okay. Can you guys see this? Okay, so this is just showing you what's in the free versus the pro version. But I wanted to show this to you. So you can use this from your laptop as well. And I love it. So for instance, there's news in here. So back in stocks. Do you need a back in stock graphic? Maybe you didn't have time to go into a Facebook group to go get it. Well, there you go. It's right there. The March content, let me just show you. Like literally, I just plan and repurpose content that's in here. March essentials, let's look at this. You can see content already done for you, right? You can already see graphics. Look at this, that you can repurpose, or you could text, or you could email to someone. It literally is so easy. You could copy a link just like that. Link copied, email it to someone, text it to someone. You'll see here, there's the March DIY, the supplement spotlight, diffuser recipes, a printable. So this is another feature that's just in the pro version. And you'll see here, it's a like a label that you can print or put it on a postcard. But again, if you wanted to send happy mail to people, look, it's done for you. A book list. I love this. It's basically book suggestions. Like think about for your members, how beneficial this could be when they come to you and ask, what are some good books for this topic or that topic? You could pull it up from the book list. And you can actually search for other books that have been featured too. There's these interactive stories, right, are for Instagram. There's IPAs, March newsletter. Do you see all this great content? It's beautiful. It's easy to read. So much great stuff. There's even social media prompts. So you can see quite a bit of stuff in the pro, but there's still lots of really good stuff in the free version too. So what I would suggest, get the free version, right off the bat, help your people so that they can have access to it too. I want to show you something that's really cool. Photos and graphics. Again, quite a bit that's in the pro version. There's still a lot that's in the free version too. But just the other day I was thinking, you know what? I would like to do I want to do a post about hormones. I just did a search for hormones here. Look at this. There is graphics. There's information. Look, there's videos on hormonal skin. There's photos here. Happy hormone photos. There's a great video here with Dr. Charnel and Dr. Jim Bob. Oh, look, there is a Happy Hormones Wellness Guide. So this is, like one of those wellness assessment suggestions right in there. Here's more information about taming the dragon. Do you see all this great information? There's diffuser recipes for hormones. So you can actually use this as kind of a search, just like you might search in a Facebook group, but this is all contained, right? Like with all Young Living, great content. But energy, another great topic. Here we go. Here's more photos. Here's a video. You guys, look at these gorgeous photos, okay, that you can reuse. Look at how beautiful this is. You can reuse this. Those are all free. Energy bars, supplement spotlight on thyromin. So the sky is really kind of the limit. And this is a great way to kind of train your members as well, to show them how to use the tool. So not only can they just have the tool and like scroll through, but they actually can do a search in here too. So this might not be something you are aware of, but honestly, when I come here, I go straight to the search. I just start searching for stuff right away. That's just kind of how my brain works. But there's announcements, what's back in stock. So I want you to think about this, okay? So for a member who isn't on Facebook, maybe they didn't get the text or get the email about what's back in stock or what's on sale. When they have the Lifesteps app, they'll be in the know. They don't have to be reliant necessarily on a group or on you, right? They can get the information direct, which I think is huge. I really feel like it's making it very customer centric, right? They can get the access without being dependent, right, on that on Facebook or a social media platform. Again, this also kind of eases it for you too. But look, here's South Africa promos for the month. So they even have some international stuff in here as well. Primarily, I will say for our international folks, it is primarily for US and Canada, but they are looking to expand. And so they'll often do, they'll have some things in Spanish and some things for other markets. Recipes. How often do you have members who are asking you for a recipe or a roller bottle? You can direct them to the app and actually do a search for them, right? Or encourage them to do a search. But there's so many great things in here. The other thing that I really love about the app is they can learn about specific oils each month. Again, each month there's a theme, like this month it's spring cleaning, and the oil of the month is lemongrass. So they do a deep dive into that particular oil for the month. Look at how beautiful this is. So much great information. How to use it, DIY, emotional support, such good stuff. You'll also see here, there is something for new members. There's a whole category in here for new members, right? To learn. What are the Young Living acronyms? How to use the tasks, how to use the contacts. Here's some on education, right? Lots of great stuff in here. So if you've got the pro account, you'll have access to a lot of the business videos, how to leverage social media, right? All of that. International. Love that. Isn't that so cool? There's videos in here. What's really cool is they often will repurpose content from the Young Living blog as well. So you'll see recipes and videos and things like that. So again, I love it because it just sort of feels like a one-stop shop to kind of get everything that you need. So that's that. And then this is the wellness boxes. So you'll see these are, once someone takes an assessment, these are the different boxes, right? The wellness boxes that are going to show up. So everything from baby to emotional support, energy, fitness, immune system. I mean, it really kind of goes on wellness, weight loss. So really cool. I'll show you the weight loss one. So you can use this for your prospects as well. Let's say you've got someone who is really interested in weight loss products, right? Maybe rather than giving them the assessment, you go, okay, you're interested in weight loss, copy that link, and then you can send them direct. These are the things that you can get. These are some weight loss products. What's in it? Look at all this. Great information, right? It's all in here. And then they can come back to you and ask how to get signed up. So again, lots of great resources in here that are just so, so good. And let's see, that's the home. Okay, I'll stop the share. So lots of great uses, everything from prospects to members, and even for us as brand partners, lots of great information. So my best suggestion is to get the free version and just kind of get in there. We all use it a little bit differently. Like I said, I think some will really love the tasks and the contacts and being able to do the follow-up. I love the photos and the graphics. By and large, it's my favorite use of the app because I love to repurpose what they have and reuse it. But I think it's also just an amazing tool for our members to be able to leverage and use. So I would love to know who is downloading it tonight. Type in the chat box, who's like brand new to it. Every builder needs it. Yes, I think, yes, I saw it. I love it. I love it. So if you don't already have it, definitely go download it. It's for you, okay? The free version is for you. Encourage anybody on your team to go get it, okay? Whether they want to do the business or not, every single person should have Lifesteps just because it's a fantastic resource to learn, get information. It's just so much more, right, than what, it's just different. It's different than what we have in the groups. I would say the only thing that's missing from Lifesteps is the community, right? That community feature that we have here with Zoom and what we have on Facebook. But I hope what you're learning tonight is that there's not just one platform, there's not just one tool. It's really kind of using the tools in conjunction with each other. And sometimes they're going to have overlap and sometimes they're not. And, we all are individuals. There are some of us who are like, I ain't got time for Facebook. I don't like it. I just want to use the Lifesteps app. Right. And then there are other people who are like, I prefer Instagram more than anything. And that's all okay. You know what? It's all good. But here's the thing, giving our members and us too, right, different opportunities to find information, to connect. This is why, like Christina said, when we first started, I just want to tell you, there was no Zoom. We had no Zoom. There was video conferencing software, but we never used it. It just wasn't a thing. We didn't even do lives back then. We would literally like text message each other on Facebook, and that was our connection. And so we just have matured so much just because the tools are now available to us. And so, Zoom is such a fantastic tool for this community piece, which you won't get with Lifesteps. And you don't really get kind of this even on Facebook. To see faces, to laugh together, to see expressions, like Jen said, is really, really key. But you know what? Sometimes people can't make it to a Zoom, and that's okay. Get into a Facebook group and let's build community that way, right? Maybe they can't get into a Facebook group. That's okay. Get into Lifesteps, right? There's something for everyone. That's what I hope you're learning from this call. But I think, as a leader, having your toe in a little bit of everything is really going to be key, because here's what you're going to find as your team grows. You're going to have a segment who's on Facebook, a segment who prefers Instagram, a segment who prefers email, a segment who prefers text. And, it's just one of those things where you kind of serve everybody where they are. Do you know what I mean? You serve them where they are and you give them the resources to help them. But here's the thing about these resources, especially Lifesteps, is it really does kind of release you from being the end all be all. Like, yes, I'm your support person, but sometimes I got to sleep too, or sometimes I have a sick kid, or sometimes I go on vacation and I want you to have the resource. So here's a Facebook group. Here's a book, right? Here's the Lifesteps app. So I hope you guys feel that it's not a 24-hour, you need to be available all the time to answer questions. I think really the hallmark of really good leadership is being able to show people the resources so that they can answer the questions themselves. Does that make sense, right? Of course, be there to help, but people really like empowering people to find the information, I think is really, really key. Oh, great question. Other apps that can help new members. Here's the thing, and this is kind of my opinion, is I don't like to overwhelm members, because when they first get started, there are some who are like, maybe like 1% who's like, give me it all. I want it all. I'm a sponge. Tell me everything, right? I would say 99% of members are not like that. They're like, oh my gosh, this is a lot. I'm super overwhelmed. So I like to baby step it, right? Like, here's month 1, here you go. Month 2, here you go. Month 3, here you go. So month 1, I would do Lifesteps. I also love the essential oils pocket reference. I do feel like every member should get their hands on that. Hands down, best tool. There is an app companion to that, but I understand they're updating it and I don't know what it's going to look like. So can't recommend it yet. The old app was really good though. But after that, right, I would kind of let it sit for a little bit, let them use it, and then start recommending different things. I think for a business builder, like Christina said, the Wild Insights app is going to be a fantastic thing. You guys, it's free. So go get Wild Insights if you don't already have it. If you've already had oily tools, this is going to be the replacement for oily tools. So the number one thing that is really awesome is that it shows that there's a paycheck estimator in it. I think that's why most of us really, really like it, because I'm like, yes, I like the feedback of like, wow, this is my paycheck this month. I've always loved it. I would check it like every day, especially when I first started building. But there are other cool tools in there as well, where you can actually text members, reach out to members, look at your downline. So it's just a very easy app, but Wild Insights will replace it. And I think I can say this, but when we get our new shopping platform, like all of the new brand partners are going to get Wild Insights as well. So there's more coming with that. I don't know how much I can release just yet. There's going to be more that brand partners are going to get, but that one's going to be really cool. So thank you, Michelle. The Pocket Reference is having a major sale. So there you go get it. That's so cool. So that's actually kind of what I would recommend in the beginning. There are other really cool tools like Christina had talked about, like Project Broadcast. But you know what I would say is, depending on your team size, like you guys, I didn't have a lot of this stuff when I first started. I was literally texting people by hand out of Oily Tools, which will now be Oily Insights. There, like when it was the end of the month, it'd be like 50 texts, 100 texts that I'd be sending out to people going, your order's not going through. Do you need help? So you could still use it and do it manually. Sometimes it's nice to kind of be close to it, but as your team grows, you may want to look for some of those other tools, and we're happy to help guide you through. But Project Broadcast is probably one of our favorites, which is a mass texting tool. You may not already know this, since we're kind of just talking about apps and technology in general. You can actually email your members out of the virtual office. It works 95% of the time. I'm just going to be honest with you. There have been times I've sent out emails and nobody gets it, but 95% of the time it's usually working. So what's really cool is when you get into the virtual office, you can send it out to your hold down line, or you can go granular. You could do it by leg within an organization of, you could do people who are on ER, people who are not on ER. You could say 0 PV people, like you could get pretty granular in who you're emailing. But I do think it's a really great way to reach out to people, because not everybody, just like not everybody is on Facebook, not everybody reads email, not everybody reads text. So personally for me, I send out both. And I just go, here you go. They'll get it one way or another, but you can repurpose a lot of this great content from Lifesteps in an email that you send to people. So definitely take advantage of that as well. Jen or Christina, do you have other tips or other things that you would suggest technology-wise? I say start small and build from there. I don't want you to get too overwhelmed. Yeah.
I think the other thing too, like Tracy kind of touched on, is like start slow, and then you'll get a feel of like what your team needs and what your team wants, and where there's holes in the communication. Like it was very clear to me that Project Broadcast was something I needed, and I didn't get it for so long, and it ended up being very good. But just start slow and utilize the free things like Tracy and Christina were saying, and then you'll get a good feel of what you need to add over time.
Thank you so much, Jen. That was really good. And then I also just wanted to say for Zoom, you guys, like definitely take advantage of it. And I was just kind of thinking different ways that you can use it. Jen covered so much, but I want you to be thinking like, it's not just necessarily like for team calls, right? Like you can do team calls, and we do that. We're doing it now, right? We do our Oily Undergrounds. We do these Thursday business calls, but you know, like the fun calls, like just team and community building, like Jen was talking about too. Okay, here's just a short list: Oily Bingo, tea time, happy hour. We did our digital convention last year on Zoom, coffee chat, spa night. We've even done some things where it was kind of a hybrid. We did an enrollers club. Anybody who enrolled someone for the month, they got invited to a special Zoom, and we did fun giveaways just for that group of people. Maybe you think about doing something like for all your new members, maybe you all have a meet and greet on a Zoom call. So there's so many different ways you could do it. You could also do like a one-on-one. I've done this as well. A one-on-one with it could be a prospect where you do a one-on-one, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, talk about the oils. You could do a one-on-one with a team member, right? Or maybe ask leader, hey, could I do a one-on-one with you? You could do product classes or business classes. We've done this as well. And I saw a few people saying this earlier. I personally, hands down, would choose to do a Zoom class over a Facebook class, just because I can literally show up 5 to 10 minutes before the class. Like I already have the script more or less in my head, or I can print it out, right? And it's just, I can do it. And there's something about having a live interaction with someone that's very different than Facebook. Facebook, as we know with the Facebook class or any kind of social media class, right? It's more passive. They're watching, right? And they're learning. And I think it's a great way to teach. And frankly, some people can't hop on a Zoom, and that's okay, right? But I also love doing a Zoom. And I think it's nice to offer both options, right? Maybe a Facebook class or Instagram class, but then also offer something via Zoom, because some people really need that interaction. I personally find it really, really easy. And I wanted to give you a couple of tips on how to do a Zoom. So if you've taught a Zoom before, or you've done a class before, there's a kind of a few like tips and tricks. So number one, I would like know in advance, right? Like, what are you teaching? Like, is it a class or whatever? Because I may invite certain people to come in and I'll say, can you share a testimony? Can you say something? So I like to kind of prep people beforehand if they're going to be speaking, right? If you put someone on the spot during a call and they don't know they're going to be speaking, sometimes they'll be like, oh my gosh, like deer in headlights, and you can like see their face, like, oh, I haven't been planning on talking. So I think if you can give people like an advance heads up, sometimes it'll be in the chat box of like, hey, would you mind sharing? If you know, didn't come to me beforehand, but giving kind of someone a heads up, I think is going to be really helpful so that they can prep a little bit. But also what I like to do, like as a Zoom is starting, here's the thing. Sometimes there's chatter. We're chatting, right? I have a thing, start right on time, right? Because be respectful of everybody's time. I know sometimes like the chatter will go just a little bit, but I like to start, especially if it's a more serious one, not like a community engagement one. I'll be like, all right, we're starting right now. I make sure everybody is muted. I don't know if you're like this, but when there's background noise, I can't pay attention. I get extremely distracted with background noise. I think I'm just like, whoa, I can't, there's too much stimulus. I can't handle it. So mute everyone. And, or if you're having challenges with that, you could say, hey, if you don't mind, please mute, just because it's easier for everyone, you know, like set the expectation, kind of like if you were a teacher in a class, set the expectation. Also remember, some people may have been invited to a class or to a Zoom call and they don't really know why they're there. I don't know. Jen invited me. She told me to come and I'm going to listen to Jen because she's amazing, right? And so, you know, when you're opening a Zoom, like, thank you for coming. So happy to have you here. My name is Tracy. We're here because we're talking about, right? So just thinking like, frame it for them so they understand why they're there, who you are, what they're going to learn. I often will say, like Jen said, leverage chat and leverage the tools within Zoom. If you have a question, please ask it in the chat box. I prefer to do that, to have them ask a question in the chat box, because again, depending on their background noise, I don't know, other people might be different, but for me, when it's like lots of people asking questions at the same time, it's hard for me. It's just like a sensory thing for me personally. I think I can't focus. So I prefer to answer people's questions from the chat box. That might be a different Zoom than if you were having like a party Zoom, like we're all at spa night and we have a glass of wine or a glass of Ningxia. Go for it. Maybe everybody's unmuted and we're all laughing and giggling, but that's a very different format, right? Than if you were like teaching or doing like product education or a business class. So, you know, different rules of engagement, I feel like, depending on the point or the purpose of the class, but just kind of reminding people of that. I would also just like let people know we are recording so that people can repurpose and watch this later. That also kind of gives people like a heads up, like, yeah, you might not want to there have been times, I'm just going to be honest, where someone was like, not appropriately dressed like at the Zoom. And so we had to go, hey, or there's something going on in the background. Maybe kids are walking around naked. So just kind of letting them know we are recording. So things happen, it's fine. But I do feel like letting people know. And yes, recording is always fabulous so that you can share and repurpose. And again, think about this, just like you might want to repurpose content from Lifesteps, you can repurpose these Zoom videos that you do. You can email it, you can text it, you can post it in a Facebook group, right? Like you can use it in so many ways. You can even use a Zoom that you do, especially if it's a class, a one-on-one class, a business class, you can use it as a teaching tool to give to maybe a new member who's interested in, teaching a class, doing the business. I will tell you, when I first started, I did not know how to teach a class because that's not how I enrolled. I enrolled through social media. So when I taught my first class, I had never gone to a class, never seen a class. And I was like sweating bullets, not knowing how to do this. So having a teaching tool like that would have been really helpful so that I could have known how to teach a class. Let's see. I think that was it. Does anybody have other questions? I'm just going over the comments, or Christina or Jen, do you have anything else to add? You guys were so good. Chelsea, yeah, getting over the fear of one-on-ones with prospects and new people. Yes, I totally get it. But I will tell you, it's easier to do a one-on-one via Zoom than it is even in person, right? It's just very easy, but it kind of feels like you're in person, but it's not quite, it's just, you can joke, you can have a little fun maybe before you start, but because you can see their face, right? And you can talk to each other, I actually think it's really easy. But you could even start with like a friend, right? Maybe start with a friend, maybe someone who you really trust. This is how we encourage people to teach classes, like invite some friends over and this is how we used to teach people to do classes, right? Invite friends over, like people you trust, people you love, and just go, you know what? Can I just practice on you? And you can do that with a Zoom call too, right? Can I just practice on you? Please do this with me so I can get some experience. And here's something that I'm just going to tell everybody. We all who do Zoom calls now, none of us, well, actually, maybe some of us were better than others for sure, but for sure for me, I was not great. I probably played with my hair a lot or like did something weird. You get better with time. It's time and experience. I promise you, there are many of us, very much me included, who was not used to doing video or speaking in front of a crowd or doing any of that. You really do get better with time and experience. So you can just practice, get out there. And you know what? Just think the other person is really just so happy to hear what you have to say. So when I kind of think about that, it really kind of releases my fears of feeling like, oh, I'm so scared to do this. I'm like, no, they really want to hear what I have to say. Bridget, great question. Do you recommend a Zoom meeting with a prospect who is not on Facebook? Yeah, that could be a really great way to connect with them, especially if there hasn't been any other way to do it. You could say, hey, do you want to hop on a Zoom and I can show you? And here's the thing, when you're on a Zoom, you can be like, look, do you see this? This is how you do it. You could like demo things for them or talk to them. So I think it can be really great. Not everybody will necessarily want to do a one-on-one Zoom. So I think you just have to like get the feedback from them. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I love it. Such good questions. Yeah, Jen, that was so good. I think you said that. It's good for extroverted people and introverted people. I totally agree. 100%. But just get out there and do it. It's awesome. It's a great tool. So again, get the free Zoom, get the free Lifesteps, start there, utilize it. There's so many ways to do it. Even if you know what you could do as like a first Zoom, getting your own team together, getting girlfriends together, right? And just go, you know what, let's just get together and have fun. During the lockdown, I had happy hour Zooms with friends that had nothing to do with oils. We would just drink and drink wine and like play games together, right? It was hilarious. It was so fun. So you could even just sort of practice that way as well. But Zoom is a great tool. Luann, you know what you could do? You could also get people together cross-line and do it that way too. Get some cross-line people together and do like a team, like, fun Zoom or a team education Zoom, or even team up to possibly do like a class together. There's so many things that you can do. We have often did a call out for who wants to do a Zoom class together. We do that usually every month or every other month or so, but you can definitely do that. Michelle invited her non-oily girlfriends to her first class. Yay, that's the way to do it. Whether it's in person or in Zoom, that's perfectly the way to do it. Love it. Okay, you guys, I think that's it. We're a little bit over and I want to be respectful of everyone's time. That's the other thing, is trying to end on time as well. That's another important Zoom tip. But wanted to tell you, thank you so much for being here. And again, go get free Zoom, go get free Lifesteps, go get free Wild Insights. There's going to be really more things along technology that we're going to be sharing later on. So can't give you too much, but I'll share with you soon. And just wanted to say a big thank you to Jen Gaskell and Christina Tuff. Christina's doing it with a newborn baby, by the way. She's like, has her baby there. So just kudos to her. Do you see how she's doing this? I love it. And thank you so much. We'll have the recording available. We'll all get it posted. So check the groups. Okay. If you've got other questions, feel free to reach out to us. We'd be happy to help you. And you've got this. So excited for you to use these new tools. You're amazing. One more thing I wanted to say. Join us next Thursday. The amazing Ashley Diet is going to be doing a book club on The Secret of a Millionaire Mind. If you've not read that book yet, it is like legitimately life-changing. Like, has nothing to do with network marketing. It's just like a life book, but it is so good for personal, for business, for growth. So please join us for the book club next week. All right. Bye, you guys. Take care.